What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys a Week 6 team builder for the WPL Season 8, taking on Sohan himself and the Toronto Leaf Storms, Mr. OP Jellicent, um, bringing you guys another showdown live, back here with his team. So let's run through his team then. He's got Kieran Black, which is a Super Z user. Typically, the only Super Z I think would ever run normally is like Z Hail, but Z Freeze Shock is very threatening, and that's a big problem. He can kind of click it against almost anything. I think he might be a little hesitant to bring it with a Registeel on my team, though. Azelf, which is a Z user, Fortress, Entei, Jolteon, Weezing, Mega Diancie, Tornadus Therian, which is his final Z user, Diggersby, Virizion, and Leavanny. In terms of priority, he's got the Entei with Extreme Speed, Diggersby with Quick Attack, and the Jolteon technically with Quick Attack, but it's fairly irrelevant given Entei and Diggersby normally run the priority moves there. Hazard setting, he's got quite a lot. Azelf with Rocks, Fortress with Rocks, Spikes and T-Spikes, Weezing with T-Spikes, Diancie with Rocks, Diggersby with Spikes, that's not supposed to say Rocks, it's supposed to say Spikes, and Leavanny with Webs. Spikes. So he's got one of everything, or two of everything actually, except for Webs. So pretty scary on the hazard front there. Something worthy to note is that he doesn't have a Dark type though, so we're going to try and take advantage of that. Removal-wise, he's got the Fortress there with this Rapid Spin and Tornadus Therian with Defog. He doesn't rely super all that much on removal because he's got the Mega Diancie, although the Fortress is fairly poor removal because it's setup bait for a lot of stuff. Torn is probably going to be his removal option if he does bring it against me. I'm not sure if he will. The thing is, right, is that most of my hazard setters do threaten the Diancie out, so it's viable to say I will be able to get up rocks this game. 4 times weaknesses, he's got the Fortress, 4 times weak to Fire, Mega Diancie, 4 times weak to Steel, Virizion, 4 times weak to Flying, and Leavanny, 4 times weak to Fire and Flying. I'm not bringing any Flying coverage this week, but I am bringing Fire coverage and Steel coverage. Yeah, so that's that. In terms of what I'm expecting, I don't really expect Virizion, and I don't really expect the Azelf. In terms of Azelf, I think he's just got better offensive options if he wanted to bring them, and better rocker options than Azelf if he wanted to bring it in that sort of capacity. So I just think it's outclassed by most of his team against mine. You know, it's definitely a bring he could go with. Maybe like a Scarfed Azelf to deal with my Mega Beedrill if he really needed to. I don't think he needs to. He's got a lot of ways to pick off Mega Beedrill. You know, Adamant Banded Entei, it's really close to just one-shotting it straight up. He's already got the Torn to switch into it reliably. Fortress switches into it reliably. Weezing switches into it reliably. I just don't necessarily think he needs the Azelf there. Virizion, I don't think is going to come, mainly because it's weaker than his other offensive mons, and it doesn't really function all that well as a wall against my team. My team is fairly physically biased, which is why I'm pretty confident Weezing is going to show up to this game. And I'm fairly confident the Virizion's not, just because if he wanted to bring it as a special wall, it doesn't do that much to me. He could bring it. It's very viable for him to bring that as a Garchomp answer. I just think that Weezing is probably better. Probably better at it, honestly, because Weezing can get the burn off and whatnot, and just makes life a little bit more hellish. So yeah, in terms of that, that's exactly, you know, anything else could come. Leavanny is on my maybe list, but people have brought Webs against me so far this season, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Webs brought again. I think Kieran Black's a yes, Entei's a definitely, Weezing's a definitely, Mega Diancie's a definitely, and Torn's a definitely. I think those 5 are 100% coming. And then I think he's got to choose between the others, or you know, he can mix it up however he wants. Realistically, he's got 9 good mons that match up well against me. Although Fortress is maybe a little bit too passive against me, it can defensively answer a lot of what I have. First up on my side, bringing Thick the Registeel. This is my main Mega Diancie check. It can also serve as a Jolteon check if need be, and a Tornadus check. I kind of wish I had Protect on this to scout for pretty much anything. Actually, I might just get rid of Earthquake and throw Protect on there. I don't really need Earthquake. It was mainly there to deal with the Jolteon. I can't really touch the Jolteon back, but Jolteon doesn't really get set up besides Agility. And I believe we're not allowed to pass Speed in this league. Or maybe we are. Let me just double check that while I'm on here with you guys. Yeah, so Thunderwave's there to cripple his faster mons. Diancie doesn't really want to stay in on me. I'm not going to risk going for rocks on the Diancie. I'm not that ballsy of a player. But I will Ironhead the shit out of it and kill it. That's the only reason I got Ironhead there for. I'm just completely SpDef. You may not baton pass speed. Okay, so he can't speed pass, which is actually really cool because, you know, Lycanroc can speed pass as well. So he had some speed pass options on the team, just isn't allowed to bring it. He's got a few agility setters as well with the Diggersby and the Jolteon. I'm more scared of agility Diggersby, and honestly Diggersby by itself is just such a huge problem. But yeah, I'm SpDef. Should be able to eat Earth Powers from the Kyurem Black too, unless he's like Groundium. Tectonic Rage Kyurem Black wouldn't surprise me to be able to break this. Or Phytinium with Z Focus Blast maybe. Although I am very much anticipating a Scarfed Kyurem to make the most sense here. I'm not sure what else he would throw a Scarf on against me besides Diggersby. And it's, you know, Mega Beedrill naturally outspeeds his entire team. So definitely possible there. That's what Registeel's job is. Get up rocks at some point, which will chip the entire team down enough for my win con to win late game. And I won't spoil that yet, we'll get to it. Although if you've seen my team builders before, you probably know what it is already. Zapdos is next. This is my physical wall, and this is designed to take on Diggersby. That's pretty much it. Entei pile drives my face in, so I'm not entirely sure what I'd want to do there. Zapdos is also my main Tornadus answer. It's a very effective Tornadus answer. It's also a very effective Leavanny answer if he brings an offensive Leavanny. Same with Virizion. If he brings offensive Virizion, he'd have to run like Stone Edge Virizion, and he can't be Z Stone Edge Virizion, so it's not very efficient against my team. I've got the Roost Defog Toxic Discharge on there. Discharge is fairly free for me to click. If he could make a really ballsy play, and what he could do is go Jolteon, and then predict my Toxic and double into Diancie that's already Mega'd. I don't think he's going to make that play. It doesn't make that much sense for him to make that play. I don't really think it makes that much sense for him to go Diancie on Zapdos hard. I think he would want to get it in maybe by pivoting, Volt switching out with Jolteon into Diancie, which is a very safe play for him to make actually. Besides the danger of him getting Discharge Para, so I might make that play at some point if the Zapdos isn't against Jolteon. I don't care too much about the Jolteon gaining health against me as long as I can deal with it effectively with the rest of my team. He is going to bring HP Ice 100% for the Garchomp, by the way. I guarantee that. Oh my god, wouldn't be one of my videos without a yawn, hey? Yeah, that's Zapdos. Really basic. Just the two defensive walls here. Primarina is next. I'm bringing a Wakan Berry Primarina with Moonblast, Scald, Rest, Sleep Talk. Really not sure what to put in the last two slots there. I may or may not change those last two slots. It's just I really don't need anything besides Moonblast and Water Stab. So I felt that this was slightly efficient. You know, Rest Sleep Talk can definitely let me live some Entei hits a little bit more efficiently. But I need this investment to be able to KO Kyurem. So Modest Max Special Attack Moonblast is a roll to kill Kyurem, except if rocks are up. Then it's never a roll to kill the Kyurem, and I will always kill the Kyurem, which would be fantastic. I've got the Wakan Berry to live a Fusion Bolt and hopefully do that. Unless he expects me to be Scarf Primarina, which would honestly be not bad, actually. Scarf Primarina doesn't look that bad in this matchup. So maybe I should reconsider and go Scarf. But Wakan Berry also lets me live a hit from the Jolteon, and maybe I can hit the Jolteon really hard. It's kind of the idea there. I can rest up on Tornadus missing a move, aka Hurricane. Or if it's using Air Slash, that's relevant as well. I don't eat Sacred Fires that well from the Entei, but I can eat a Sacred Fire and rest up on it, and then bank on getting Scald. It's safer for me to just click Scald, but if I need to be healthy, I need to be healthy. And I can take on the Diancie relatively well just because of Primarina's natural SpDef bulk. It's fairly effective matchup for me to 1v1. Same with Azelf. Excuse me. Although Azelf probably runs Psyshock for me. Who just... Oh my god, I'm supposed to be playing a match soon, and people keep adding me in other chats. Okay, so next up is Lycanroc-Dusk. Bring Banded Lycanroc. Should have had the matchup against Lux, didn't, because I sacked it. But it should have a much better time against Sohan. So Accelerock picks off a lot of stuff. Like, he's got 2 rock resists in the Diggersby and the Verzion. You know, Verzion doesn't really appreciate Firefang. Diggersby doesn't really appreciate Firefang or Ironhead. So those are relatively safe clicks against something like the Diancie anyways. Like, Ironhead is really safe against the Diancie. Firefang is really safe against the Fortress. And so if he swaps in, good lord, swaps into one of his rock resists, then he's in a better spot there. But this is a nice late game cleaning tool with the Accelerock. I thought about Life Orb, which would also be fairly efficient. Kind of just wanted to be banned here. You know, Life Orb's outsped by the Jolteon, the Azelf, and the Torn. Not super ridiculous there because the Accelerock picks off all 3 of them. They're all pretty squishy, especially on the physical defensive side. They're all pretty squishy in terms of Jolteon at the very least. It doesn't take hits on both sides very well, but I wasn't sure what to risk there, and I felt like Banded just gets off more damage anyways. If he does want to switch in the Diggersby or the Verzion on a banded Accelerock or a banded Stone Edge, then they're still taking a chunk. I believe Verzion gets Synthesis, but Diggersby doesn't get any recovery. And to my knowledge, Jolteon is his only Wish Passer, which I don't really anticipate to be a Wish Passing set. Lycanroc speed tying the Diancie, and that's about all she wrote with the Lycanroc there. Garchomp's next. Scarf Chomp looks pretty decent this matchup to me. You know, I threaten out a lot of his team, just outright threaten out a lot of his team, and even though he's got the Azelf and the Weezing as Levitators and the Torn to switch into me with as a flying type, he's not bringing all 3 of those. I think he's bringing at max 2, and if I can bait in the Weezing, that is best case scenario for the Reuniclus, which is my win con if you haven't figured it out by now. Reuniclus obliterates this man, and I will talk about that in a second. So yeah, if I can bait in the Weezing, best case scenario for me, unless he doubles, but I just need 1 turn against the Weezing, and I'm solid. As long as I make the right prediction on that 1 turn against the Weezing, I'm in a really good spot. The Weezing also has to not have Clear Smog, but that's about that. Yeah, so I'm just running 4 attacks. Stone Edge hits the Torn, or anything that doesn't want to switch into me, really. Stone Edge is a nice neutral ground play. If he's expecting me to click, like, Dragon Claw against the Kyurem Black, then I can risk the Stone Edge and maybe catch the Diancie switching in on the Dragon Claw. I'm not sure if he would willingly risk Mega Diancie like that, but he might. And then I've got Firefang on there for the Fortress, but it can hit the Verzion and the Leavanny as well. Earthquake won't do much to them. Excuse me. Take that as you will. Enough speed on here to outspeed the Entei and then max attack a little bit of thing. Reuniclus. Alright, he's got no dark type, so Mono Psychic wins, and I can run Double Dance Reuniclus, which is really cool. And I've got a story behind this after I talk about this. But Calm Mind Acid Armor, really OP against his team because it means I'm boosting both of my defenses and my special attack at the same time. With the Recover there, I need to be Magic Guard just in case he Toxics me. I can't risk losing my win con to running Regenerator or Overcoat or something stupid like that. Who was it? I ran Overcoat against somebody I was expecting to use Spore or something, didn't I? And it was like the dumbest thing ever. Why did I run Overcoat? Did I run Overcoat against... Ugh, okay, I don't remember anymore. I felt like I ran Overcoat against somebody, and it was just really bad. Oh, I ran Regenerator against Lux. That's what it was. I ran Regenerator against Lux to switch into Mega Medi, and then he didn't even bring Mega Medi. Yeah, so this Reuniclus wins. That's pretty much all there is to it. I've optimized the EVs a little bit here in terms of how I'm eating hits. So after an Acid Armor, Banded Diggersby Return will not 2-shot me, which is kind of the ideal situation there. Should be what's doing the most damage out of his attackers on the physical side. And after a Calm Mind with the Staff investment that I have, Life Orb, Jolteon, Shadow Ball should not be 2-shotting me. So that's what I thought was going to hit me best on the special side. Now, again, this Reuniclus is... Yeah, the Fortress and the Weezing are literal setup bait, both of them, unless he brings, like, Red Card Fortress, which is definitely something he could bring for the Mimikyu. So I'm going to try and scout that out earlier rather than later. I'm not necessarily going to pull the trigger on Reuniclus that early into the game, But if I can force the Wheezing in on the Lycanroc or the Garchomp, then that's a really good situation for me to be able to get into Reuniclus. And if I see that the Fortress is a different item that's not that's not Red Card, because otherwise his phasing options are limited to like Entei with Roar and Jolteon with Roar, I think. And I don't really anticipate either of them to run that. Sohan kind of sticks with fairly standard sets. You can kind of tell by his team, right? His team is pretty standard in what it does. You know, it's just hard hitters on both sides, and then bulk with a little bit of setup and hazard support. So he's fairly standard in how he plays from what I've seen of his matches, and it's just hard to beat him because he makes good reads in the game and builds standard. So people expect crazy, and he builds standard. So we'll see if he goes standard and doesn't pull out the wacky stuff, then this Reuniclus might just win. We'll see. In terms of what didn't come, all right, Mimikyu was on the list. Scarf Diggersby is a problem. That's pretty much it. Wheezing as well, I think, will come to wall the Mimikyu on top of the Garchomp, the Mega Beedrill, and the Lycanroc. And the Beware. Like, Wheezing just has such a good matchup that I am almost certain it is coming to this game. Dugong, not coming to this game. It was kind of a meme against Mike week 1 because it could check like Snorlax, I think is what I brought it for, was Snorlax. But it also checked the Gliscor really well and trapped the Gliscor. It doesn't have a utility matchup this game. I'm not bringing offensive Dugong. It's just not worthwhile. It's too slow. Mega Beedrill, I already know Weezing's coming. There's no point in me bringing Mega Beedrill. It doesn't do that much to his team. I could pivot on stuff, but it's just chip damage, and I don't need the chip damage. Realistically, I just need an opportunity for Reuniclus to set up. Beware, again, shut down by the Wheezing, gets cucked by the Entei. Especially because Fluffy is going to double the power of Sacred Fire, and Sacred Fire is not a contact move, so that's fun. Kyurem Black has Terrorbolt, so he'll just blow through me anyways. Mega DNC blows through me, Jolteon blows through me, Tornadus blows through me, Lurantis, Tornadus blows through me, Kyurem Black blows through me, Entei blows through me. That's basically all it was, really. This is kind of the only 6 I could bring, and luckily for me, Reuniclus wins, so there we go. And I've said that a bunch of times. Now, I talked about March Madness in one of my videos. I don't remember if this was maybe in my red videos, which aren't going to be posted until after WPL is over, by the way. But I said I was going to fill you guys in on my March Madness journey. I played my first match so far, and we won 6-0. I brought a nice Double Dance Mew against Axel, who didn't have a Dark type. Exactly, this is kind of the story behind the... this is the replay, by the way. This is kind of the story behind that is this Double Dance Mew over here, rather than the Double Dance Reuniclus we see here. So it's the same sort of thing with a Psychic Attacker that can just beat up on teams. So yeah, I don't know how long I've been sitting on that replay for, but there you go. I beat Axel 6-0 in our first match of pools for TTM March Madness 2019. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this team builder, and I will catch you guys for the battle.